Hi guys, welcome to our, let's say, special edition of Pixel Talk with Luke Dale here.
Hi.
So let's get right into it.
Yeah, let's not mess around.
With the first question. Were there any moments where you had to improvise lines or behavior on set?
We never really improvised because, and we say this a lot, the writing was really, really good. And obviously, because you're doing motion capture, performance capture, every element of that is being animated and needs to be as it was when it was recorded and conceptualized in the beginning. So if you veer out of what was in the script and has been totally agreed upon by the studio and the writers, it makes it really hard for the animators. Everyone's not on the same page. So while you can sort of do that in films and theatre, it's much harder to do it in video games. But not just that, there's a bit of an arrogance in saying, oh, I'm just going to try something and let everyone work around me, when there's been so much work and effort been put into the script by wonderful, talented writers. So no, we didn't. And if there was any last minute changes, the actors, we would sort of maybe we'd read a line and we'd feel like it didn't really fit how our character would say it, because we've been playing him for a while now. So we could say, can I just say it maybe like this instead? And then, you know, the translator, John Comer or Dan or whoever, would say, yeah, no, if that feels better for you and it's more believable, then we'll do it like that. But no, there was very little improv. Okay,
so it is all like choreographed. You can't.
It's very choreographed. It's sort of what they call blocked on the day. So the actors come in, you know, and you work out with the director how it's going to feel. But that's all been worked out before in their heads. But the actors don't know, so they places where they need to places. We try it out. We do it a few times, and then you record. But it's all the amount of planning that's gone into it is immense. So you don't want to mess with that too much.
Did you ever missed the feeling of now I feel like this would be funnier, so I can do it?
If you're doing your job right as an actor, you're hopefully keeping that performance alive each time you do it. It might be slightly different. It might have a slightly different feel. You're giving with each take slight bit of a different interpretation. Maybe one try will be a little bit more bland or funny or emotional than another, and then you're giving the team the options that they need. Usually it gets better with every take. If you keep doing it, it can go stale, so there's a sweet spot in the middle somewhere. But no, my interpretation and the part I'm playing is enough for me. I don't feel the need to embellish or steamroll the script by throwing in lines or anything like that.
Okay, that is interesting.
I'll tell you where there is improv. There are moments where they haven't written anything for the script and they have literally said the actors can say what they like, and that's one example is where Hans in For Whom the Bell Tolls is walking to the gallows, sorry for spoilers, and people are, I think, throwing things and they're screaming at him because they think he's a poacher and he deserves to die, so they're all screaming slurs and calling him all sorts of names. That sort of thing is perfectly fine for you to improvise.
That was the moments you were enjoying, that you can just say whatever.
Yeah, and actually, funnily enough, Tom McKay, who plays Henry, was up there shouting slurs at me, so thanks, mate.
He had the perfect opportunity to do that because I guess he doesn't do it in real life.
Well, he would if he could.
You trained in classical theater, so was there like something you had to unlearn or adapt for motion capture and voice acting?
The training that I did actually prepared me quite well for motion capture, I would say. Nothing prepares you for the obstacles in your way with performance capture. There's a lot to get your head around and over, because it's hard enough trying to build and portray a character like in a film or theatre, but to do it when you've also got like a headset on, lights in your face, the camera right here in the middle of your eyes. So if I'm here with you, like I've just got this thing in the middle of my, and then of course the suit and the bland room, and see all the other actors dressed the same. You're holding tankards that aren't tankards. You're in a bath, but it's not a bath. It's a scaffolding. It's all really hard to imagine where you really are. It really is. And at first, that was a big obstacle. But my training as an actor did prepare me in terms of your imagination. Your imagination has to be really strong, and you have to be like a kid. I mean, being an actor is just like being a kid. There's not really any difference. You're just playing make-believe, and you're playing, and the stronger your will to believe in where you are, the better you'll be. And that goes for everything. You know, the space that you're in, your breath will change for everyone. You know, if you're standing on the top of a mountain, your breath will actually be different from in a small room like this. So all those things affect how you behave, how you come across, how you speak. And so your imagination is number one. And so my training really helped with that, for sure. Okay,
and do you think people need to go to some acting school, or can they just start being a voice actor just like that?
No, you don't have to. If you've got some way of getting experience, I'd say it's better to almost, if you've got the opportunity to work or to practice somewhere, then you should. And you might not need to go to drama school. There is a lot about drama school I'm not sure is right for everybody. It can be very it's like they're like cults.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're a bit culty. Okay. I enjoyed my time. I did, but it was a cult. And yeah, it's not for everyone. But I did get a lot out of it. I did. And I would say if you can train, you should, unless you've got a way of getting into the industry fast. You know, some people have parents in the industry, a family member who can help them. So, you know, if you've got people in the industry that can help you get work pretty quick when you're young, then do that and just learn on the job. Learning on the job is a great way to do it. But if you don't, train. Definitely train. And it will help you, because it's not always easy, especially with voiceover work that's quite strenuous. It sounds silly, but if you're in a voiceover booth for 4 or more hours, and often a lot of that's screaming or fighting, that's so bad for your voice, and to sustain that for a long period of time is very hard. So what your training will actually do is teach you to the point where it's in your body and in muscle memory, to be able to do that for a long time without losing your voice. And you know, your voice is your instrument at the end of the day, so you need to be able to use it constantly. And your training will help you with things like that as well.
So you think getting the experience early is better than to learning some technique and going out of school to like know everything on paper?
Getting early experience is really good, but it's not necessarily imperative. I always think of people like James Gandolfini, who plays the lead, Tony Soprano in The Sopranos, right? He didn't act until he was in his 40s, and he's one of the most powerful, compelling actors that ever graced the screens, right? God bless him, God rest his soul. But he's a good example of someone that just had a sort of raw talent. He'd never really honed it until he was later on in life. He did some classes, realized he had this talent, and went for it. So there's no rules. There's no rules. But I did it when I was younger because it was right for me, and I was hungry to learn. But I think the main thing is curiosity. Keep your curiosity and your hunger to learn and to be interested in people and behavior and thought. The idea of thought is very important as an actor, and how thoughts emerge and where they come from and how they change. All that stuff's really, really key.
And for you, when did you thought about the path of doing voice acting? let's say, against the theater, because you had a drama school, so I would have thought you would go to a stage, maybe, like being an actor on stage.
I did do stage for quite a while. I did a bit of television, and then I had a period where I barely got any work for a long time. I'd got the first Kingdom Come game not long out of drama school, and that I did that for a little while, but then obviously that went away for a very long time. And yeah, I mean, it was nice to have Kingdom Come, that it came back for a while, but once that work dried up, I went a long period without any work, and the work that I could find at the time, this is when I was around 22, 23, 24, was didn't pay well. The theatre didn't pay well. There wasn't much of it. And yeah, no one was knocking on my door going, we really want Luke Dale. Like, no one gave a shit. So I decided to go off and cultivate another set of skills and another career, because it just felt to me like I was running out of steam, and I didn't have any other way to make money at all, apart from being an actor. I did odd jobs, like I worked as a waiter and on bars, restaurants, was a nanny for quite a while. I looked after people's kids, and that was all good, but it just didn't feel like a good way to live for the rest of my entire life. And I was like, I'm going to need something else. So I became a filmmaker, and I was quite successful in that, and that was really good, and I still do that now. What was your bloody question? I'm so sorry. There was a reason for I said all of that.
Yeah, when did you choose the path?
Oh, how did... Yeah, so yeah, but the voiceover thing, I just fell into it by getting this game, and the success of the game is why I'm still doing it now. And this game has given me the ability to come back to acting. The success of it has been so big that I now, I have managed to get a couple of agents again, and I can audition for stuff again. But even right now, 32 years old, I'm much more experienced. I think I'm a much better actor. I struggle to get work as an actor, right? Yeah. So, but the difference is now that I don't have to rely on it, right? Because I can do streaming, I can do filmmaking, I can. There's all sorts of different ways that I can make money now. So it's like what before felt like life and death every time I had an audition. I was like, oh, I must get this because I don't know how I'll make rent. Now that's gone. And I do an audition now and I forget about it. And I'm like, if I get the job, I'm like, miracle. But I don't, it's no longer like everything. Whereas that's what it used to feel like. So you are more relaxed now? Much more relaxed, yeah.
Do you think the people can tell on the auditions that you are more relaxed?
A lot of the auditions that I do are like self-tape auditions, so I don't go into rooms and meet people. That's what you used to do. And I think it's a shame that we don't do that much anymore. I think you still do, but it's like more towards the end of the process of auditioning. And so like the initial audition is usually they send you the script and you literally do it in your room and you with your iPhone and you just quickly tape for it with someone that helping you and you send it off to them. And if they like how you look and if you can say words, they might have you if you look right. I think it's a shame because I like to be able to have people meet me and see me and understand me, and I also then can find out whether I want to work with them. What if I walk in the room and they're kind of rude or they're arrogant? I actually don't want to be in their project anyway, so it's all one-sided, and I think that's a shame. But you do your best, and I think I think I'm much more relaxed, and my tapes are probably better now than they ever have been because I'm an old man now.
I wouldn't say you're old, but just Thanks. In case someone who is older is watching us, I have to save it. But do you think that for acting, when we are talking about television, film, somewhere where you can see your face, that it's more about how you look than how you act?
I think it's probably very, very, very important, how you look. And not necessarily that you have to be beautiful, but just, do you look like you're right for the role? And then after that, it's, okay, are they any good? To be honest, I think people put profile over talent. I think that's been the way it's been for a very long time. And there's no point in getting annoyed about that. That's just how it is. There were times when I used to audition when I was younger, and I'd do a great job. I'd get recall after recall after recall, and then I wouldn't get the job. And then I'd look, when the thing, whatever it was, came out, I thought, okay, who did do it? And it'd be someone who many more credits than me, constantly working, a face you've kind of probably seen before, and you just go, oh God, it's every time. So yeah, it's frustrating, but like, you just, perseverance is key, I guess.
Okay, so it's hard to get into it, like into the industry when you are new.
Extremely. Yeah, it's extremely hard.
That was very interesting. Thank you. I never knew this stuff because I didn't try to get into acting.
Yeah,
well, now I want it.
Don't bother.
Let's get back to the set. And was there a moment where something went wrong, but actually it was good in the end? Like
on set in the studio, something went wrong. I mean, just my performance every single day. No, I don't know. I don't think anything much went wrong. To be honest, on the whole, it's a really well-oiled machine. There are such a talented bunch of people. And if anything does go wrong, you just do another take, really.
So there wasn't any case that something would be a mistake, but they would say, I like the mistake better.
Well, yeah, that kind of thing did happen, I guess. I've struggled to pick an instance out of my mind, but I think, yeah, like, you're constantly looking for things that feel organic and real. So sometimes, yeah, someone would do something that maybe was unexpected, and but it felt right. So you might keep that. You'd be like, yeah, do that on the next take. And but that's just part and parcel of being in any project. That happens in stage. I mean, that's just about rehearsal. Rehearsal is finding together something that feels right for all of you. But I can't think of like one example for you, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's okay. I was just curious if it ever happened.
My old brain. Old man.
I will have to convince you here now that you are not old. I wasn't prepared for this job. I have a special question. If you could tell me, how did you capture riding a horse, like as a motion capture?
So Pebbles is actually just a chair, which I hate to break it to you.
Oh no.
I know, it's a shame. She's beautiful, but she is a chair.
Yeah. And it was a nice chair, at least.
It was an okay chair. It actually hurts your bum. It's quite hard.
Oh.
Yeah. They didn't get special chairs. They're just chairs. And they actually don't animate anything from below the waist. So it's all just how you look when you're on the chair from like up here. And they also encourage you not to do all of this stuff, because they're like, we're gonna sort that out in post. You can sway a little bit, or if there's a little bit of movement, but it's nothing crazy. Because actually, if you're on a horse and the horse is riding quite fast, you're not like really up and down. Actually, if you know how to ride, you're fairly static. So they were like, don't do any of that rubbish.
And did they tell you before or after you tried doing that?
Oh God, yeah, no. The thing is, actors always want to do more and give more. So yeah, we'd be there like, come on. And they'd be like, can you just stop doing that? Yeah. But yeah, also the swimming as well was done on chairs. We have footage of that somewhere, which is pretty hilarious. Yeah, chairs are very important in the studio.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, very.
You don't have a game without chairs?
No.
It seems.
There's no game without chairs. Kingdom Come Deliverance chairs.
The next DLC.
That's the next DLC.
We'll go over to what are you doing now, which is streaming. So on stream, you seem like such a theater kid. I think you can tell.
I've been outed. Damn.
How does performing live online compare to acting on stage or set?
They're totally different things.
I was hoping for it.
Yeah. I don't think that streaming is for everybody. I really, really don't. I don't think it's for every actor. I think just because you're an actor does not mean you're going to be a good streamer. That is a guarantee. I didn't know that I would be a good streamer. I had no idea. I didn't know it was for me. It was a complete accident. I started trying it out. You know, this is a couple of years ago now, and I'd do a few hours, and I'd play Red Dead 2, and I had about 4 viewers, and I was just feeling it out, and I was finding my feet and figuring out, how do I make this entertaining? Because this is actually kind of hard to make something as simple as playing a game, and it's just me. I'm not talking to anyone else, because I don't like necessarily. I do actually like streaming with other people, to be fair, but I'm not always going to be able to. So like, how am I going to keep people's attention for all this time? So I kept trying, and then something kind of miraculous happened where I think it was the character weirdly enabled me to be more entertaining. Yeah. So I kind of lent in to him, and he brought out this side of me that was more fun. And this is the same, you know, when it was what I very much appreciate about that character, is that he's fun to play. And so I was like, maybe I could just be a bit more like him on stream and stream this game. And it worked. It worked really well, to the point where now it's a career. Like it's now my first career, kind of. I don't get much acting work, so I guess you could say it's my main career now. Hopefully I get to do other games and then stream those games. I mean, that'd be a wonderful cycle, wouldn't it, if I just kept doing that? But someone's going to put me in a game first. It's been quite a ride, actually.
So would you say that you adapted like a persona on stream, or is it completely just still you but with some characteristics from Hans? I
think especially when the second game came out, I was very much playing the persona of the character. I was pretty much being him with a glass of champagne in my hand, right? Over the months, it's only been 5 months now, I think, something like that. Over the months, I've toned it down, and I've been much more me. And I did that on purpose. You know, I even had my handle on social media used to even be his name, and then I switched it to Luke Dale Live, and I wanted people to watch for me, because one. You know, I don't want to ride on the coattails of one character forever. That's excessively dull. But two, also for business reasons, if I am pretending to be that character, but then I get a partnership deal or a sponsorship from someone, and I'm still playing him, like Warhorse might be like, you can't do that. So there was an element of that, but also, you know, I think it's better to just be myself. But I can always get Hans out if I ever need him again.
So you have him tucked away, and you can.
Yeah, but there's also an element of that he lives within me, and there are things about me that are very like him, and so there's a blur there. There's an overlap somewhere that I don't know where that begins and ends.
Maybe you are just Hans now, but you don't even know it.
Yeah, quite possibly. Yeah.
Have your fans ever changed how you view Hans after you've seen their opinions on him?
Oh, that's such a good question. Yes, yeah, they have actually. They have all the time, because they see him in ways that I didn't, and they're very affected by the romance particularly. They're very affected by him as a person. What's wonderful to see is people's reactions to a character you've built and spent years working on. I saw this one TikTok recently that made me absolutely just bawl with laughter, where a guy was streaming the game, and he was like, "This is my reaction every time I see Hans." And Hans came on screen. I think he was at the Devil's Den, like on the balcony, and he looked up and he saw me and he went, "My boy!" And I was like, I can relate to that, because that's how I feel when I see Hans. And so, like, yeah, the people's reactions and people's feelings towards that character are varied, very varied. But it's taught me a lot about how, you know, how impactful he has been. And yeah, it's really special, actually.
And was it weird, or is it weird, when you say people really are affected by the romance because they also love the character in the game, and there are like some fan art of the character? Do you think like it's weird because it's about the character, but it's your face, so it's like I don't know, love letters to you, you know?
Well, yeah, it's weird, but I also am very aware that I'm not him, right? So I know we're joking about that, but I'm not him. So it's weird that it's my face, for sure. But I definitely try to divorce the idea that anyone's doing that stuff about me, because they're not. They've fallen in love with a character that I played, and that's great. It's not me. So I'm happy for them to do whatever they want with him, and I should have no say in any of that, and should have no opinion on any of that. So I'm just glad that it's resonated with people so much that they even want to make fan art about him, because some of it's amazing. And I think when anyone makes art about something like that, it just shows you how impactful it's been, you know.
And it never happened to you that someone would come up to you and treated you like you are the character, like you are Hans?
Oh, they do. Yeah. No, they expect me to be. And I play up to it because it's funny.
So yeah. you enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm very grateful that anybody would come up to me and see me as the character. You know, I'm grateful to have been a part of this, and I think you should never take yourself seriously. You should take your work very seriously, because that is a collaboration and a project and something that, you know, a lot of people might see and be affected by and impacted by. But taking yourself seriously is a very different thing. So I would never be like, "Oh God, leave me alone, I'm a serious actor." Like, can I swear?
Yeah.
Fuck off. Like, no. You should be grateful, and you should be. Yeah. So I play up to it, and if that's what people want to see from me, I'll happily oblige. That's fine.
Okay. I mean, I would say that that is one key point to being a good streamer. Like, you can't take yourself seriously.
Yeah, and that comes back to what why I think not all actors would make a good streamer. Is because acting and entertaining are two totally separate things for me. I don't think they're the same. You know, acting is sort of you can sort of disappear into a role, and you can focus on something and just be this character. But there's no, even though you're giving yourself to it, there's no element of connecting with anyone as your individual personality, right? But with being an entertainer, you are coming at it fully as yourself, and it's really hard to keep people entertained when you're doing that. Which is why it helped with kind of putting a little bit, sprinkling of Hans in there a little bit, to give me a bit of pep, and the odd bit of beer didn't hinder me either. That was quite helpful. But yeah, they're totally separate things, and there's a whole bunch of other things about streaming that we could get into that are very tricky and difficult, that isn't for everyone, like in terms of the lifestyle of it and what it entails. But that's a whole other stream. a whole other podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have like a fan theory about hands that isn't canon, but you think it should be?
I always remember the scene where, and this is why I love streaming, because my community go tell me to do stuff that I would never have found. I would never have thought to look in a certain place. But they'll be like, Luke, is it the Devil's Den? And they're like, go look at the book underneath Hans's bed. I was like, why? What's under there? It's like, just do it. Just go look. And I go look at this book, and he's basically got medieval porn under there. It's dirty poems. And I was like, you little dog. And yeah, I think that's interesting, and I think I think he's a horny bugger. That everyone knows that, to be fair. That's not a revelation, is it? But I think he's quite a horny bugger.
I mean, yeah, that's not a fan theory.
It's not a fan theory. It's a fact. Yeah, it is. It is, yeah.
How often do you get mistaken for Joe McHale from Community?
All the time. Well, I used to get it more when I was younger, but yes, I do. Yeah, Joel McHale. I get that a lot.
Yeah.
How did you what? Did you just see that?
I saw the TV series, like the Community TV show.
But have I said this to you before?
No.
That's mad. Okay. Yeah, no, I do.
You were just looking like someone, and I just figured it out.
No, I do. I look like I could be his son or younger brother, maybe. I also think we kind of communicate similarly. Like, we have a similar kind of mannerisms and personality. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm a massive Community fan, and I always loved him. I always like aspired to him. I would like him a lot. I think he's great. But I was always very aware that we're kind of similar in a lot of ways that scares me. I'm like, it's some of my family tree go over to America at some point. I don't know. When
you moved to Prague, did you think about joining theater again? Since rap theater is mainstream in Czech Republic, kind of.
Ooh, I don't know. Theater is like my first love. It was the thing that I think I'm best at. I think I'm a much better theater actor than I ever was any other kind of actor. It's the thing that I most absolutely adore. Would I go back to it? I don't know. It doesn't pay well. It really, really doesn't. And it takes you out of other opportunities for a really long time. So you can be in a show for like, where you have to rehearse it for weeks and then be in it for weeks, and it can really, like, you know, stop you getting other things and being open to other things. So I just, for that reason, I'm not sure. But if it was the right play and the right part in the right theatre with the right director, whatever, then yeah, of course I'd love to. But I do miss it. I also, like, I did musicals and I'm a singer and I miss that. So if it was a musical, that would be hard to say no to as well. So yeah, we'll see. And
that brings me to the other important question. Have you been to Jara Zimmerman's theatre yet?
I haven't, but I do intend to. I've actually got a few actor friends in Prague that act a lot of in a lot of plays regularly, so I'm going to probably go and see them at some point.
They actually do a production there. It's like British production of Jara Zimmerman's plays, so it is very interesting. To see.
But do Czech people go and see British English plays?
Yeah, they do, because the Czech version is so popular that it's hard to get tickets.
Did you see The Conquest of the North Pole?
No.
That had
I didn't.
That had two of the KCD actors in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Hanush and Radzig were both in that.
Just a few more questions about Kingdom Come. Did playing hands shift your perspective on nobility, masculinity, and privilege?
Wow, you're really coming out of the gate today with big swings. Did it change my... Can you say it again?
Did it change your perspective on nobility or masculinity or privilege, you know, because he is like a privileged person in the game, or noble one, so...
Do you know, people won't believe me because of the way I talk now. and the fact that I've played Hans for 10 years. But like, I'm very, very far away from that world. I was a working class lad from Sheffield, and I had a very, very broad Yorkshire accent, and I moved to London, and I talked like Sean Bean, basically, and people would take mick out of my accent and that because they didn't understand it or nothing like. But then I've played this noble, and has been a huge part of my life for a very long time, and speaks very posh like this, and so that's been quite interesting. So yeah, has it changed my outlook? I think it's made me empathize with people who are put into positions that they're maybe they're not ready for. I mean, when I think about Hans and what he has to do, is this young lad, and all he really wants to do is go out and fuck and drink and have fun, but he has got these responsibilities, and I do feel for him for that, because like I fortunately was able to go have fun when I was younger, because I wasn't in the royal family. But you look at someone like Elizabeth II or any of the royals, they can't do that. Like a good example would be Prince, not William. William was more of a straight edge, but Harry, like Prince Harry, he was always getting in trouble for going out and partying, and it must be annoying. But you got duties, so it did make me empathise with him a little bit, that he couldn't have a normal life. He couldn't have that kind of life. He's always getting told off, but he finds a way. He finds a way. Masculinity-wise, I think the game has done a stunning job of exploring male relationships, and whether that be intimate or just a deep kind of friendship connection. I think it's perfect. I think it's just perfect. It's very real. Their relationship reminds me very much of some of the friendships I've had in my life that have meant a great deal to me. And yeah, and of course, if you wish to take that further, I think it's wonderful how they also did that. And a lot of people thought, some people thought it came out of the blue, and I don't think it did. I think any relationship I've had that was really meaningful, meaning like romantically, it always was born out of a very strong friendship in the beginning, and it's quite rare, and also can be quite surprising when it happens, and there's that foundation there that leads to the more powerful kind of feelings that you have. So the idea that's like impossible to some people is crazy, and then you mix in all the other circumstances that come along with it. But the writers of the game and the characters has taught me a lot about that stuff, and has really impressed me with how they navigated it.
Okay, thank you for answering that more philosophical question. I would say. My
pleasure.
Is there anything you personally would love to see in Hans' future?
Oh, well, he's being married off, which is obviously devastating for him, and I would love to see how he deals with that, if he deals with that. But then also, people often ask me, like, if there was another game, what would it be about? And I think, the Hussite War is quite interesting, because actually Hans swapped sides in real life. Jan Potacek, the real dude. That would be terribly interesting to explore, and why he did that. That seems like the Hussite Wars. There's a wealth of stories and interesting things that you could explore there. So, yeah, that's where I would go with it.
Yeah, I think that's all of our questions. Thank you so much for coming today.
My pleasure. I
learned a lot, so hopefully you guys did too.
Thank you for watching my silly face.
So next time, bye.
Bye.